Hey everyone, it's Jasmine, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my flows are all about accessibility and meeting you where you are on the mat. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining. Today's flow, we're showing our hips some loves as we work towards a standing pose. So, if you haven't grabbed your blocks, feel free to grab them for today's practice. And if you have other props, please feel free to bring those as well. So, what we're going to do, we're actually going to get started with centering and some breath work. So I'm going to use my blocks here as a bolster. If you have a bolster, you can also bring that as well. And I'm just going to sit here on my blocks to help bring my hips a little bit lower down to the ground here as we get ready for our breathing practice. So we're just centering our breath before we get started with today's practice. So feel free to place your hands wherever they feel comfortable. You can hold them in your lap, place them on your thighs. Have your hands at heart as well. Whatever feels best for you today. I just like for us to center before we get started in today's practice. So, for this round here of breath work, we're just going to settle into our bodies. Feel free to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you, or a soft gaze, whatever works best for you. And just notice how your breath is, how you're feeling, and breathe at a normal pace, whatever that looks like for you as we center for today's practice. Letting gravity do its work as we sit in this pose. And as you are letting gravity do its job, set an intention for today's practice. See if you could relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, even relax your forehead. Letting gravity take control. Begin to open your eyes if they have been closed and return to your surroundings. That was wonderful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to jump into our warm up, which we're actually going to begin in a supine position or on our backs. So I'm just going to move our blocks over here that are still nameless. They have no name, no name. So we're just going to actually lay on our backs here with our heels on the ground here. And it's kind of like a flat back position here. So you may have to move your body around to where it feels comfortable. And we're going to take our hands here on our upper thighs and just begin to move our thighs over like a windshield wiper to both sides with your knees leading here as we begin to show our hips some love. loosening our low back and hips here in this modified variation of a windshield wiper. And you can continue with this movement here, or you can also place your hands next to your body here on the ground. And you can actually hold your body or hold take your right hand and then bring over both knees towards the right side of your body for a supine twist to your right here. So, whatever feels best for you, if you want some movement or stillness, you have two options to tap into. And don't forget to breathe into your body here. Return to center for both options. And then we're just going to sway again with our knees in this windshield wiper variation here. Feel free to continue with this movement here, where you can take your left hand, grabbing your right knee, and bringing both of your knees over to your left for a supine twist hold. And you may spill off your mat, which is a-okay today. Release and return to center here. And now in the same position, you're going to lower both of your legs down, sort of like you're in a traditional Shavasana here. And we're going to bend our right knee and then bring it up towards our chest here. You can also hold on to the back of your thigh, whatever feels great for you. Releasing back, bending your left leg now or left knee, and bringing your knee towards your chest. Or you can also hold on to the back of your thigh, whatever feels great for you. And we're breathing. Release. Now we're going to bring both of our heels to our mat here. So with our knees bent, we're going to lift our knees towards our chest here and take our knees and imagine that you're drawing a circle with your knees here. So they're going up towards your body and then down for some knee circles here. Everything I feel like on me is popping today, which is okay as well. Return to the center and then repeat in the opposite direction here. And feel free with your hands if you like to guide or just connect with your body. Or you can also place your hands to the side of your mat. Return to center and release your heels back to your mat here. Now, turning over to the right or the left side of your mat, whichever feels comfortable for you, and bringing yourself up here. Now, we're going to a tabletop position here, and we're going to tap into some cat cows. So let's check our alignment first. So we have our hips over our knees here and our shoulders over wrist. So as we think about safe alignment and being safe in our bodies, I always like to check in this tabletop position. Now dropping your belly and opening up your chest here, maybe looking towards your eyebrows, and then exhale. Rounding your spine, letting all that air out. Inhale, drop your belly, looking towards your eyebrows. Exhale, rounding your spine, pushing away from the earth. Now repeating this cat cow movement on your own. And moving with your breath here. On your next cat cow, return to a tabletop position. Now we're going to thread the needle here. So with our right hand, we're going to take it off the mat and bend at our elbows here, and then place our hand down. Then inhale, bringing and bending that elbow, but continuing to go through. Open up, and then thread your right arm under your left arm here. So this may feel comfortable for you in this position here where the back of your body isn't touching on the ground, and this works. Or you can continue to straighten that right arm and then lay on your back here, the back of your right shoulder. And then you can bring your left hand forward to create some more space. As we breathe into our bodies here, taking your left hand, bringing yourself up by pushing through and returning to the tabletop position. Now, repeating with your opposite side, bringing your left arm up here, just bending at your elbow, and then returning back to the ground. And then inhale, straightening your arm through, and then threading to the opposite side here. Whatever feels comfortable for you in this thread the needle position. Pushing through with your right arm here, returning to the tabletop position. Now we're moving into a low lunge here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hip, open it up here, and we're actually going to lead with this knee here. So with your right knee, you're going to bring that right knee up and then step forward here into a low lunge. Feel free to take your right hand and rest it on your thigh for support, and then sweep up to your low lunge here, pushing your hips forward. Returning back to a tabletop position and repeating on the opposite side. So opening up on your left side, bringing that knee forward and stepping forward into a low lunge. Pushing our hips forward. Returning back to the tabletop position here. Now we're bringing our knees wide, toes touching, sitting our hips back for a child's pose. Arms could be wider for space as well. Inhale, looking forward. Returning to our tabletop position. And now what we're going to do is push our hips back, untuck our toes, pushing our hips back for our first downward dog of today's practice. Pushing away from the earth here
in your downward dog. And don't worry if your heels are not flat on the ground here. What I'd like for you to focus on is pushing away from the earth here in this pose, and your knees actually could be bent in downward dog. Inhale, looking forward. We're going to actually walk our hands to our feet here into a forward fold. Rooting through all four corners, we're going to push ourselves up for root to rise. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. Perfect. I'm all flipped up upside down, I guess because I was watching Stranger Things. Now, meet me at the top of the mat here for our Tadasana. So, hips are about hip width apart here, and we're firmly rooted in our pose here, pressing into all four corners with our hands resting at our side or hands at heart. Inhale, sweeping your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Exhale, halfway lift. Moving your shoulders away from your ears here for a nice flat back. Knees could be bent as well. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, pressing into all four corners. Root to rise. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. Now I'm just going to move into the center of the mat here for our standing cork pose. So I'm going to show you from a side view, but also from the front view. We'll start with the front view first, and then as we go into our flow, you will be parallel to your mat here. So in our standing cork pose, we are going to, again, very similar in our Tadasana. We're going to be firmly rooted into our mat here, and I will show you a couple of variations. So we're going to focus with raising our left leg. So we're going to start with putting some weight into the right side of our bodies or the right foot here. Hands could be placed on your hips, at your heart here, straight in front of you, or hands up. So there's a lot of variations for your arms here. So wanted to start with that. However, placing all of the weight in your right leg here, we're just going to actually bend our knee here with our toes pointed towards the mat. So this could be a variation of your standing cork pose. You could also use a block as well. So very similar. It's just going to bring some elevation here. And again, you're just elevating the floor with the block here. And this could be your standing stork pose. I was going to say cork because obviously I'm thinking of wine today too. So this could be your standing stork pose with your hands on your hips or also hands straight out or also lifted or hands at heart. So whatever feels best for you, this could be a variation. Your next option is very similar, placing all of the weight here in the right side of your body. And now we're actually going to take this bended left knee here and then rise it. So about 90 degrees here with your toes pointed down as well. So this also could be an option for your standing stork pose. And feel free to have a nice bend in your standing leg as well. And this could be a variation. Your last variation, very similar, placing all of that weight here in the right side with your toes pointed towards the ground, lifting up into this 90-degree angle, and then straighten your leg here. So this could be another option of your standing stork pose. And then hands again, whatever feels comfortable for you. So I'm already shaking. So let's get into this flow here. So we're actually going to stand again at the top of our mat in Tadasana. Inhale, sweeping your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Shoulders away from your ears. Nice bend in your knee. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise. Inhale, hands at heart. Now let's start in our standing stork pose with our actual right side this time. So placing all of the weight in our left leg here. Get into your standing stork pose, whatever works for you. Inhale, sweeping your hands up if they have it. And that same motion that we used earlier today when we brought our leg in front of us for a low lunge, we're actually going to do the opposite and step back to our warrior one here pose. So with your hips, if you want them a little bit more aligned, you can take this front hip, bring it back, sweeping up into a warrior one. Placing your hands together, and then we'll step into a warrior three. So taking that back leg here, and you can actually have your legs here or your back legs still on the ground here for some balance, or you can work towards lifting that back leg up for warrior three. Step back to warrior one, into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise. Inhale, hands up, hands at heart. Now let's repeat on the opposite side with all of our weight going into the right side of our leg here. Your standing stork pose, whatever works best for you. Bending your front knee if you're going with option three, and then stepping back to your warrior one. Pushing your right hips back for your hips to be squared, hands at heart, and then lift off to warrior three. And we're breathing here. Lower your back leg down for warrior one, and then step into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, hands to heart. Hands placed to the side for Tadasana. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Making your way down to a tabletop position. Knees wide, big toes touching together, pushing your hips back and sitting back into a child's pose here to rest. Inhale, lifting your head off the floor here. Returning to a tabletop position, we're just going to swing our legs around in a seated position with our legs out in front of us. And I will grab my blocks here for a seated side bend. So inhale, sweeping your hands up, placing your right hand either on the floor or your blocks here, and having a nice stretch on the left side of your body. Repeat on the opposite side. Returning your hands at the side of your body here or on your upper thighs, whatever feels best for you. And I'm just going to actually move our blocks here further down and return back to our supine position here. So, heels on the ground. And again, you have the option of swaying your thighs in this windshield wiper feel here, which I'm loving right now. Or you can take your right hand, grabbing your left knee, and bringing it towards the right side of your body. So, whatever option feels best for you. I think I'm going to return back to my windshield wiper and show my low back and hips some love here. Return to center. And if you are going to a supine position, you can feel free to switch over to your opposite side or return back to your windshield wipers. Return to center and straighten your legs out and prepare for our Shavasana. In your Shavasana, feel free to have your knees bent with your knees resting inwards and a constructive rest here, or our more traditional Shavasana. And another option is grabbing your bolster, and you can also place those behind your thighs or knees, whatever feels best for you. And as I think I'm going to go into constructive rest here, melting into my Shavasana here, variation. And before I go quiet, I like for you to return back to your intention that you set for today's practice and sit with it during your Shavasana and return to your normal breathing. If you have more time to sit in Shavasana, I always encourage you to. However, if you are coming out with the rest of us, begin to open your eyes if they have been closed, wiggling your fingers and toes, returning to your current surrounding, and twisting over to the right or the left side of your mat in this fetal position, whatever feels comfortable for you. Using the hand that is pressed against the floor, press away from it. Thank you for joining me in today's practice. I feel so calm, and I hope you do too. And just thank you. I appreciate it. It's just been the holidays, Thanksgiving, all the things, but I do want to share this message. I'm forever grateful for everyone that tunes in, shows love, whether that's a like, a follow, or a share. So until next time, bye.